So Twig, talk us through what looked to be a pretty good overall performance. Talk us through what happened in the end.
We got beaten by a better team. I think that we did so much right for 2.5 quarters. Basically, right in the middle of the third quarter, the game couldn't have been looking any better for us. The way we planned to play it, in tricky conditions. But from that moment, we dropped the ball in contest. We were undisciplined and too many free kicks that influenced the play. They got excited. That's the thing. We kept them to 2 goals till halfway through the third quarter, and they were able to kick 5 in about a 10-minute patch in 3/4 time, and clearly got all the momentum. And unfortunately, last quarter we just had a couple of looks going inside 50 early and just didn't make the most of them, and felt like it was almost our chance. And yeah, their class has prevailed late, but fundamentally, when the game was right up for grabs, we got outworked. They were cleaner around contest areas, and yeah, their class up front were able to hurt us.
I mean, obviously the first quarter we keep the Eagles goalless and we looked in control, even though we didn't have a real big lead. Second quarter I thought was really strong. We had a lot of inside 50 entries. Binder started getting his hands on it, and Wagner. But then obviously 15 minutes into the third quarter, talk us through that switch of momentum and what you saw from the coach's perspective.
Yeah, I think I just covered it, that we were undisciplined at key moments, and their forwards got excited. They went to the front of the contest, our backs went to the back. They lost centre bounce, so that was where it turned. And the second quarter, they started having a few shots. I felt like we'd kept them, their dangerous players, pretty quiet. And the second quarter, they started having a few shots, and I think the scoring shots might have been 10-6 or 7 at half time, but they kicked 2-8. So what was pretty tricky conditions was probably to the left of screen was the Woodcock end, was the scoring end, and but they found a way to kick 5 in 10 minutes to the non-scoring end. So that was the ball game.
Obviously, we had a tough loss against Glenelg. They came hard in the back end of the third quarter, I believe, and then today was pretty similar back end of the third quarter. What needs to be done, Twig, in order to compete with these teams and stay with them heading into the last?
It's about to retain your discipline, about to retain doing what you do. Like, you're not going to have momentum for 4 quarters. That's a given when you play the best, and clearly the Eagles and Glenelg are the 2 best teams in it at present. And about to, on repeat, keep doing what works well for you. And when you get undisciplined and give away free kicks that aren't necessary, and just give them some chance to go forward and put their talent on show in front of the ball, which happened with Glenelg and Eagles. It's on repeat, basically, that the class players really started to rise when they got a bit of momentum, a bit of a sniff that the momentum was going in their team's direction. So it's hard work playing against good teams. You don't just get it handed to you. You've got to do a lot right for a lot of the time, and we're just at a stage at the moment where we're able to do it for periods of games and weeks, but we drop it off, and we do drop off, unfortunately, for small periods, and it's been costing us and punishing us a bit too severely.
Just at a few positives, obviously, how'd you find Josh Richards' game today? I thought he was pretty solid, playing on a wing and a little bit into the midfield inside, and then obviously Tristan Binder was pretty good up forward as well.
Yeah, Richards has had a good 5 weeks. It means a lot to him. He prepares well, he trains hard, he does what we want, and I liked what he did out there today. They haven't obviously seen the replay, and Binder keeps improving. He's got heaps of improvement left in him, but he gives us a target. He looks like he's going to mark most balls he goes towards at the moment. We're just not getting enough support in the air and at ground level up forward at the moment, where we're just probably a bit too reliant on Tristan just to get through today. So that was unfortunately, not a strength area for us front and forward of the ball.
And heading into next week, it's a big game against the Crows. I mean, is it you're looking at maybe a few changes this team, or do you believe that we're on the right path? We had a really good win against Port Adelaide last week.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about whether we're going to make changes half an hour after a game. There's a lot to assess. There's a lot of guys this stage of the year that get sore, harder to train, harder to keep competing over 4 quarters. So we'll just assess everything with a pragmatic outlook about who's performing, who's fit enough. We've always, as much as we can, pick fit teams this year. So let's just let the dust settle, assess it with a balanced and calm outlook, and see where we land next week.
Thanks, Twig.